Welcome back to our last module in this course, Integration of Faith and Learning in Online Course Design. I believe we all have had a great learning experience in the previous modules as we had tried to carefully study this important topic. We have studied how integration of faith and learning is important to be embraced in the whole process of designing an online course, starting from the analysis of the learner characteristics to the delineation of the learning outcomes, and then should proceed to the designing of the instructional strategies. Our main point is simply this: integration of faith and learning must be a thread running through the different components of a course designing process. So now, in this module, we will see how to integrate faith and learning in the last component of online course design, which is developing assessment tools. Let us explore 7 important principles that Pavlov and Pratt outline in their book. These principles should guide us in designing the student assessment tools in order to effectively integrate faith and learning. The first principle is we need to design learner-centered assessments that include self-reflection. As we noted in the previous modules, learner-focused teaching resonates with the biblical view of a learner who is created in the image of God and needs to be empowered to thoughtfully contribute to the learning process. Therefore, in designing assessment tools, it is important to furnish students with the opportunity for self-reflection. And in particular, questions for self-reflection should address the progress of the learner in the development of his faith. The second one is we need to design and include grading rubrics for the assessment of different learning activities. Rubrics list down the characteristics of quality work and help the student to understand assessment expectations. Clear and concise rubrics help to prevent some fairness issues in grading and make the assessment transparent. Failing to do this and grading students arbitrarily doesn't reflect Christ-like character, which a true education experience should promote. The third principle, we need to include collaborative assessments through public posting of papers along with comments from students to students. In online learning, a supportive learning community is crucial to effectively integrate faith and learning. The assessment tools that we design should foster the creation of a supportive learning community, which in turn will help to integrate faith and learning effectively. The fourth principle, we need to encourage students to develop skills in providing feedback by providing guidelines to good feedback and by modeling what is expected. If online learners are equipped and encouraged to give feedback on their peers' activities, the learning community becomes stronger, and that will enhance the faith development. And the biblical principle of telling the truth in love, which we find in Ephesians chapter 4, verse 15, should guide any good feedback. We have to tell the truth, but it has to be done in love. The fifth principle, we need to use assessment techniques that fit the context and align that with the learning objectives. If a course designer is intentional to integrate faith and learning in developing the learning outcomes, then it will be logical to include assessment tools or techniques that are aligned with those learning outcomes. And that's why it is crucial to integrate faith and learning throughout the whole process of designing a course. Any assessment tool that we bring at the end should match with what we have put in the very beginning as part of the learning outcome. Therefore, if IFL was incorporated in the learning outcome, then the assessment tool will now address that particular learning outcome. Principle number 6, design assessments that are clear, easy to understand, and likely to work in the online environment. Integration of faith and learning requires clear communication. We need to ensure that what we use to assess the students' learning is achieving the goal of true education. And any support we give to the students so that they can get a clearer understanding of our expectations will help them to be motivated and learn better and appreciate our attempt to integrate faith and learning. And finally, ask for and incorporate students' input into how assessment should be conducted. As mentioned earlier, the active engagement of students in the process of the assessment helps to rightly address their needs and ensure their progress toward the outcome. As agents of salvation, online course teachers should design the assessment tools with greater sensitivity to the need of the students. As we conclude, let us, Christian educators, remember that assessment is all about stewardship. God has given us this opportunity of helping our students to integrate faith and learning. We need to use our assessment tools to ensure that learning occurs and integration of learning and faith occurs effectively. Paul writes in 1 Corinthians 4:2, moreover, it is required in stewards that one be found faithful. May God help us to be faithful stewards as we design assessment tools that will help us to ensure integration of faith and learning occurs in our classroom. Amen.